Now, what are some strategies that we can do? So you mentioned a lot of things from a health standpoint, a stress reduction standpoint. What else can we do to attack the hair? I think topically we can do some things to help. We can use laser lights, LED laser lights can be super helpful to drive down the inflammation and to help stimulate blood flow. Again, this isn't going to matter if you're not doing the other diet and lifestyle and nutritional things. So we kind of have our hierarchy, right? So everything you already said and we already said is foundational. Now we add things to it. We can make sure we have collagen peptides. We can make sure we supplement biotin. We can use some laser lights that are very helpful, LED laser. There's different grades that are out there. I'll put a link to the one that I'm recommending and using now that I think works really well, that can be super helpful. And 6 to 10 minutes a day, it's going to stimulate the mitochondria, stimulate blood flow, reduce inflammation at the follicle. One of the other things I love is using a microneedling device. I'll put one down below that I like and I do it once a week and I hit those areas. I'll hit along my front hairline, down the side, the vertex. And that's wonderful because that's going to increase blood flow. It's going to stimulate stem cell production. There's a lot of data on this. Typically, you're going to hit it at the scalp level at 1 to 1.5 millimeters depth. And that's going to help enough to really stimulate. Once a week is going to be great with that. Very helpful.
I am seeing a lot of people, once again, this is another like social media thing I've seen, not only these guys in their 20s rubbing all these, drug creams on, but also a bunch of people getting hair transplants. Now, that's obviously a more extreme intervention, but what I would say is it's not root cause. Now, I don't know enough about that. I'm speaking a little bit out of my expertise here. I don't know enough about hair transplants, but what I'll say is, I mean, number one, it's probably got to be pretty bad to get to that level, probably more expensive. But then what about the underlying biochemistry that's wrong? The nutrient deficiencies, the gut infections, whatever that led to that. I wonder, does the hair transplant still last? Is it just such a magical remedy that it counteracts all of your issues and deficiencies and toxicities? Or does even a hair transplant fail after 5 years? Do you know anything about it?
Yeah, so there's different things here, right? So with telogen effluvium, most of this hair loss will come back in 3 to 6 months on its own. And again, telogen effluvium is not going to be impacted by androgens. Androgens are going to typically impact the Norwood 1, which starts here, through 7, which is all the way in the back. Let me just give people a reference of what the Norwood scale looks like, just so when I use the word, people know what I'm talking about here. Okay, here's the Norwood scale, right? So when you start to look at people, you can kind of size them up, okay? So here we go. So Norwood 1 is typically just a little bit right here. And then Norwood 2, it comes back a little bit further right here. And then it comes back a little bit further in 3. And then in 4, you start to see the vertex, the crown start showing up. And then it gets bigger, bigger, and bigger until this whole area is like George Costanza eyes, in case anyone has a Seinfeld as a reference, right? So this whole top part. So like someone like you, Evan, you're probably like a 2. I'm probably like a 2-ish as well. Obviously, people once they start going to a 2 to a 3, they're like, all right, let's just start, working on these areas right in here. Let's start working on the crown with the microneedling once a week. It can't hurt, right? And that you keep a lot of the results. Now, depending on what happens next, if it's influenced by DHT, then you got to look at what else do you want to put on there? Do you want to put on some saw palmetto to reduce the DHT? Do you want to do some copper peptides, which have shown to be helpful? Do you want to start adding a little bit of Rogaine and minoxidil without the propylene glycol? That's shown to be helpful. Again, you'll get some golden handcuffs with some of these, meaning you'll have to keep it up. But the microneedling, it's going to keep no matter what. And with some of these too, with the Rogaine, for instance, there's a lot of data that you're going to get a 400% increase with microneedling and Rogaine than just Rogaine by itself. So you get 4 times the benefit, partly because you create little channels into the scalp area, and it's going to stimulate and work on that scalp tissue to grow better.